is everything and can also scatter everything. So we keep on having the hope. We don't need to be hopeless. So let's get straight to the point of today's conversation, which has to deal with the threat by the NLC. The NLC has decided to threaten Nigerians, and not just Nigeria, the government, of shutting down the economy if their president, Ajaero, is being held today. The much awaited day that Femi Falana-San, the senior advocate of Nigeria, who has said he wasn't going on that day, he was going to go on the 29th. And today is the day so many people accompanied the president of NLC to the police headquarters today. Now, the organized labor gave the warning today at the Labor House in Abuja, where various affiliates union leaders gathered early morning in solidarity with Ajaero. The police, as we know, had invited him for the alleged terrorism, finances, subversion, cybercrime after the end bad governance protest held between August 1st and 10th. Now, Ajaero today, in company with his lawyer, Femi Falana-San, proceeded to the office of the Intelligence Response Team at the disbanded SANS facility located at Gosape area of Abuja. Some of the unions spotted on the ground as at early this morning that accompanied the NLC president include Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria and the National Union of Telecommunications Employee and the Radio and Television Act Workers Union. The General Secretary of the NLC, Emmanuel Obuaja, while addressing members, accused the federal government of chasing shadows, mockingly saying Ajaero was never on the run. Now, earlier this morning, we have so much reactions from different people, both on X and on Facebook, on different social media platforms. But let's start with what the lawyer Adeyenju said as at this morning when he was leaving Lagos to attend that. Then we'll take several others who also took to their X platform to express their own opinion on this matter. But we are still coming to the story, because that national shutdown is not gonna happen. It's not happening again because something spectacular has already happened as at now, this very breathing time. Let's take what Adeyenju said. He said, at the Lagos airport now, returning to Abuja, painful won't be at the swearing-in ceremony of new NBA president, but I'm one of the lawyers representing the NLC president, Comrade Joe Ajaero, to the police today, calling on all patriotic lawyers to join us at Labor House by 9:30 a.m. That was happening this morning. Then netizens took turns to take a shout out to them. Of course, we can see a whole lot of people who turned to the police headquarters in Abuja this morning. This, I want to clearly point out the solidarity that this brings at the end of the day. So let's just first of all take the reaction of people. Then I'll come back and tell you why so much crowd that went there changed the narrative. Now we have this coming from Kanu, who said that person wey don harass other Nigerians when him fell woefully to use his office and correct this government. Instead, he was busy romancing this administration. Now he is paying back for his sin. Obviously, this very person is actually talking about the 250,000 naira insisted by the NLC but was never accomplished. Then let's look at Omega X Dreams, who says it is amazing everyone of you hit the ground for him, but NLC and TUC failed to hit the ground for the masses during the end bad governance protest. This administration has nothing to offer. You better stand your ground and grab 100K minimum wage for the workers and stop playing. This is a reaction again as a result of the NLC's failure to get the Nigerian workers what they want. Then we have Ms. Loads, Rhoda, who said, consign us. Let them even keep him in detention because it's irrelevant to the struggles of the average Nigerians. Well, there is good news. The good news is that Joe Ajaero is no longer in the police custody. As at this morning, so many people's solidarity to the NLC president destroying the headquarters of the police force. And they succumbed to that very pressure. I want us to understand the meaning of the morality of this very gesture, this solidarity, what it portends and what it was able to bring. At the end of the day, seeing the crowd that went with them, there was no tear gassing of them outside of that very police facility. But at the end of the day, Ajaero ended up spending not more than an hour plus at the police facility, wrote his statement, and had to leave that very facility, police headquarters, and back to the Union House. So, for those of you who thought that the threat is going to happen, it's no longer going to happen because it is personal. But I want us to understand that crowd, a lot of people went out there for him, but he was not there for these masses when his time to stood his ground against getting them that very getting them the minimum wage. He succumbed to the presidency, and that's why they are coming back after him. So just like some people said, they are coming back for him, and they keep coming back to him until he leaves this very office. So let's quickly see the reaction of our people at the headquarters, where he actually made his own admissions or his own remarks, because he did not speak to journalists while at the police headquarters. When he came back, he addressed journalists and some of the lawyers who spoke. And of course, also after this very video that I want you to watch on his comments on the interview, I want you also to listen to some of the issues that we need to tackle quickly. Let's take a listen to Joe Ajaero coming back to and smiling for what people, thanking people for what they have done for him for today.
Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever.
So we have to press for its implementation as soon as possible. Every other thing that will make the welfare of the Nigerian worker to work right will be involved in it. We will not listen to any distraction.
Yes, sir.
On behalf of the NLC, NAC and NEC, and CWC, and the level of solidarity they show here, I want to thank every one of you. I didn't know say when I love me like this. May the Almighty God continue to multiply you in leaps and bounds. Tell everybody, tell Nigerians from all walks of life, you know, that we are committed to your welfare. God bless you all. Look us around. So just to correct the impression, what we have is quite different from what was contained in the invitation letter. So, but whatever that is the case, now that they have learned their lesson and correct themselves, we are taking it in that manner. So we said that the NLC president, we just want to ask him one or two questions in response to the tenants that is here. And we just so that doesn't mean that.
So that was Maxwell Opara also talking at the Labour House this morning after the NLC, Joe Ajaero has left the police headquarters. But again, let me bring the issue, because Deji Adeyenju, I mentioned that yesterday when we are in the program last evening, that Deji Adeyenju was there in Abuja, Moshood Abiola Stadium, on the last protest, End Bad Governance protest. And in this very protest, they were confined to the stadium, and there was, you know, wasbos around that, what the police interprets that order to be, and all of that. Yesterday, I mentioned the fact that it's very important that at this very time on preparation, as the leaders of the October 1st End Bad Governance Fearless protest. Now, in this October protest, we already know that the government will also take the position of getting a court order once again to confine protesters, and I believe that that is not what is stipulated by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, while giving right to citizens to freely protest. I do not believe that the court orders emanating from different courts both in Lagos, Abuja and elsewhere to confine protesters in certain area for their protest is constitutional. I do want them to challenge this. But before we get into that again, I want you to hear from the Commissioner of Police in FCT as at that time, what he said, and also Deji Adenju, what he also said, so that we can understand the discussion points when we get to this very issue of these court orders coming back to haunt protesters again. Why we should on time nip it in the bud. Why we should press further right now. But let's take a listen to what transpired on the 1st of August, on the first day while this very protest started, or in the August end bad governance protest. What gave rise to the order? How the order itself was explained by Deji, who happens to be one of the promoters and one of the leaders of the Fearless in October protest. Let's take a listen.
We have a court judgment on court ruling, court order on substituted service, which the barrister Deji Adenju is leading them, is aware of. The substituted service said that the order is that they should protest inside the stadium, and we requested that each group that we protest has to come to the police and notify the police. No group has notified the police. We only came here to see some people here, and we said, for the fact you have not notified us and they want to protest, follow the court order, which Deji Adenju, the barrister, is aware. The order said, protest inside the stadium. We are not stopping anybody from protesting, but look at how they are blocking the express road. And I said no, because where their right stops is where another man's own stops. Because as they are infringing into the right of way of people, is not good. They are equally trampling on other people's rights on passage. And that's why he said no, they should enter the stadium where the court has given order that they should enter inside. They should carry out their 1,000 pressmen and enter the stadium and protest. They can transmit it to 2,000 word press. I don't care.
So, have you spoken with Mr. Deji Adenju on this?
I've spoken with him. He said I should give him 3 hours for him to organize them to enter into the stadium. I'm giving him 3 hours.
Okay. So, what are your plans today?
I'm here. I am here.
Okay. So, Dr. Ruben, Ayo, and Rufai, that is the situation.
But can you ask him a question?
Do you have any questions?
Yes. Can you ask him? Can you ask him that in the event that the protesters refuse to go inside, because it's possible they may also not listen to Deji Adenju. He as a law enforcement officer and who is responsible for security in Abuja, what options are available to him in the case of recalcitrance on the part of the protesters?
Okay, the Commissioner, should the protesters refuse to go in, because there is an obvious possibility of the protesters being recalcitrant, what are the options available for you?
Then they are not law-abiding. It's not me that gave the ruling, it's court order.
So what
if they want to breach the court order, they are breaching the court order. It's not my order. It's not the order of the Inspector General of Police. It's not the order of anybody.
So what will he
it's
do?
the order of
so what options are available? What will he do?
So if they are doing it against court order, they know they are equally disobeying.
So what are the consequences?
They should know the consequence. Their barrister is here.
You don't know the consequences?
The barrister is here. He knows the consequence of disobeying court order.
Okay, are you willing to tell us the consequence?
I'm not willing to tell you because he knows the consequence. He that is leading them.
Okay, let's invite Barrister Deji Adenju. Is here also here with us. We understand that the police commissioner has appealed to you, has spoken to you that you should move the protesters inside, which is according to the court injunction. That's according to the police commissioner. What's your response to this?
The protesters are at the stadium. Are we not in the National Stadium?
We are there.
The court order say National Stadium. They have refused to allow us to go to Eagle Square. We say we will not confront them.
What the police commissioner is saying that inside the National Stadium.
No, the court order said stadium, National Stadium. That's what the court order say. Koniman die, Koniman bury him. You understand? Koniman die, Koniman is a Koniman. I'm also a Koniman.
So he has spoken to you now as the commissioner of police in Abuja. Are you willing to?
Are we not complying? Are we not at the stadium? Are we at Eagle Square?
Okay, but if he
this is my big brother.
If he insists that you should move into the National Stadium,
then they have to carry us in. I've gone to speak as the lawyer. I've advised the protesters. I said, listen, if no matter how uncomfortable you are with a positive court order, whether it is interim, interlocutory, or perpetual, you must try to comply. The law must see you taking steps to comply. You can see that people kept it, but protesters called me as early as 5 a.m. this morning and said they're going to stop the Eagle Square. And I advised them that they should not go there. That they should not go to the Eagle Square, because if they do that, they'll be disobeying the court order.
Okay.
You understand? So,
we spoke to the police commissioner earlier on about the options of you refusing to move inside the stadium, and he said you are aware of the consequences. So are you prepared for the consequences, and what do you think would be the consequences of you not moving into the main bowl of the National Stadium?
Very simple answer. Simple answer. You see, because we are in the stadium, we are within the ambit of the law, complying with the positive order of the court. Because we're in the vicinity of the National Stadium. Do you understand? We are not in the 3-arm zone. That is why, you see, my appeal before the CP came, you see how peaceful and serene the place was. But with the CP's presence, the atmosphere is charged. So my appeal to my big brother is that you should not take steps that will make the protest degenerate. It's an appeal. You understand? Thank God that he's somebody that I respect, and he has a lot of respect and regard for me. So the idea of me coming here is that I will keep appealing to the protesters, and I will keep appealing to the authorities, because without this synergy, the country cannot work, and this protest will not be as peaceful as we want it. So let me further appeal to the CP, who is my brother, that he should de-escalate the situation. Do you understand? Okay. He's a conflict manager.
Okay. We're still talking about consequences here, and the police commissioner felt so sure that you know the consequence of disagreeing with him on this issue.
Okay, where are we? Are we not at the National Stadium? We are at the National Stadium. That's why I have spoken about the issue of Koniman die, Koniman bury him.
Obviously, you don't want to talk about the consequence of moving
Which
into
consequence? Because we're in the National Stadium.
Okay, but now, talking about consequences.
And you know that I've actually not seen the order. I've not seen the order. All I have seen are news reports. And because I'm a lawyer, I must, whether the order is genuine or not, I must advise the protesters to comply.
Okay. Finally, the federal government has called for constructive engagement with the government and the masses.
So we can see from what transpired at the last End Bad Governance protest, and that's why I keep asking the question whether we are prepared for the fearless in October. How prepared are we? And also, how prepared is the government in curbing? Having learned about the people who took advantage of the peaceful protest, how are they preparing to manage the fearless in October? So the question that I want some of us to answer is whether Deji, being a lawyer right now, whether they should go ahead and challenge the orders that have been dishing out, both confining protesters in different locations, both in Lagos and Abuja, because as we know, it's going to repeat itself all over again. We know that it's going to happen, and we have 1 month. So I want to use this very medium as usual. Hope alive. There is hope in Nigeria. Obidient Family TV, yes. Whoever knows Sowore, and also Deji Adenju to reach out to them and ask them this very important question. What are they doing about the court orders mandating protesters to be confined in certain areas because it's going to come up again? Is this according to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, or is just a random order that people go into any court and then prevent people from having a peaceful procession in the streets where they chose to have that very protest? Why confine protesters in the areas that there is not even where they need government to hear them? What happens to picketing the National Assembly? What happens to picketing the villa where the president resides to send their messages home? Why and why and why? Please go to comment section. Tell me if these are valid questions and if these are valid issues that should be discussed at this very time before the Fearless in October. At least the conveners, the leaders, and the mobilizers are known now. At least they are posting all of this on the internet. Please, let's go to the comment section. Tell us what you feel. Until when we come back later this evening to have further discussion on the trending things in Nigeria, I will say thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Until then, bye for now.